Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of... Is everyone still there? Is everyone
Such
there?
a tease, man.
Such a tease, man. Such a tease. Such a tease. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another show, another episode of Prematch Muti.
Hey, guys.
That's how it's done.
this
That's
guy.
how it's done.
There you go.
So
Very
sometimes it takes a whole team to get it over the line. You know,
Claudio,
this
you
isn't
okay
an
then,
individual sport.
I don't know.
Hey.
Am I back? Am I back?
Your voice
Yeah, I can hear you
occasionally
now.
is
We
back.
knocked-
I think, can I be honest? I think someone has latched onto our Wi-Fi. I think that's actually what's going on here.
You're sharing it with the
We knocked out
neighborhood.
with Portugal.
All right, guys, so where were we? I think I'm back now. Everybody, we've got in the house, we've got Muti Waits. It's coming home apparently for England. We've got Wonga Dengue. He's got the Dutch flag, but the one team he did not want is the one that's carrying him right now. That is Switzerland. And then we've got Silo, Lolo, Kale with not one, but two sides in the house. And that's obviously the two that are facing each other, unfortunately. Belgium and Italy. Two big dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got me with no one except for my goal lounge shirt. That's it.
Ooh,
Turn,
that's
turn,
nice.
turn around. Turn around.
Yep.
Do a little twirl.
Oh, yeah. And the cat, number
Nice,
10.
nice.
Jersey number 10.
Always, you got to play
Very
with number
cool.
10. Anyway, gents. So in the house, we've got Louis Murray, we've got Jason Sergel. Thank you for joining us. And of course, the famous Pumalani. Pums, you're a champ. Thanks for joining us. And gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Obviously, we've got a lot to cover tonight. We're covering a couple of Premier League topics first before we're jumping into the quarterfinals because there's some breaking news. And I'm just very happy that we've got Man United and Spurs representatives because the news obviously contains these two people. And obviously, Arman, back in the house. Well done, son. Thank you for joining us. Okay.
Hey, Aman, how's it, man? How's it going, Aman?
What up, man?
What's happening? Are you guys in
Welcome,
class
everyone.
again?
Right, first big topic. Sancho to be a devil. How do we feel about this? Selo, I know you must be over the moon, but how do the rest of us feel?
I mean, honestly, we're not surprised, right? It's not like this has been sneaking out of nowhere. This has been talked about. If anything, it's late. Like,
Yeah.
what are we? We're now. This is the third transfer window when this has been a story. Am I right? So
Yep.
I think it's
Yeah.
about time,
Oh,
if
I thought
anything.
the second one.
What is cool, they've got it done relatively early. They didn't leave it until 2 games have already been played.
That's true. That's
True.
true. Definitely. I think that's the most important thing. I think, as most Man United fans are saying now, is that historically we take 2 years to do a deal, and we only sign the player the following season as the season's about to start. But this time, at least, it's the 1st of July. Sancho is going to go on holiday, knowing that when he goes to report to preseason training, he's not going to go to Dortmund. He's going to go straight to Man United, which is very good. And I love that. And it allows us to concentrate on other targets. You know what I mean? So, Jadon Sancho, number 7. Here we go.
Arjun says
Yeah,
we
it's
need to
gonna
be
be
scared.
problematic.
Wonga, what do you want to say?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at Man United's team now, it's problematic. And I also saw news that they're also trying to chase Varane from Madrid. But yeah, so geez, looks like they're pretty serious. But I mean, yeah, it just makes me sad looking at my team spending 50 million on Ben White, and they're able to get Sancho for somewhere, you know. Now, I mean, it's a lot of money we're talking. It's ridiculous amounts,
Yeah.
but I mean, 50, 70. I mean, and was it 80? Was it 80 pounds? 80 million pounds
For?
for Sancho. How
Sancho.
much was it?
I'm not sure.
75 million.
somewhere
Can
there,
you
yeah.
see? And we're spending 50 on Ben White. I don't know what's going on with my club, but yeah, it's just gonna make us more. It makes me more worried about Man United come the beginning of the season.
Selo, Pums is asking, where does he fit in the puzzle of Man United, Sancho?
Yeah, man. People like to ask, where does he fit in? You know, I think he just fits in the right wing. You know, simple as that. Our right wing has been filled by Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is not a winger. He's a striker. But obviously, I think we integrated him on the right-hand side, just so that he can, get a feel of the game. Not too much pressure to be the number 9 and score too many goals, just to contribute to the team. So Jadon Sancho fits in on the right wing, and I think the most important thing is a team needs to have depth in the key areas. So with Sancho, at least it gives us that depth up front. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play in the number 10 position as well. So it gives us some quality. And also, what happened with Rashford and Greenwood is that you'd have 2 people playing on the wings that weren't really wingers. They are more forwards. So what would happen is that they would always want to cut in and shoot, and they weren't really creating that many chances for Cavani and other players. They were mostly trying to be the ones that would be at the end of chances. So with Sancho, at least we've got someone who's an assist merchant. He's had so many assists in the Bundesliga and so on. So I think that definitely adds to the creativity of the team, and not reliant on a Pogba and a Bruno too much. That at least Sancho will add some impetus to that. What's Arjun saying? Yeah, man.
Varane going to cost the same as Ben White. Sorry, I just want to add my 2 cents to Sancho. I think in terms of repairing the culture at Man United, they keep saying they need to revert back to old ways and find the right players. I do think he's got a bit of a dickishness to him, which I think bodes well for a United player. He's got that arrogance, and he's got that sort of swagger when he's walking on. So let's see what happens. And what's the talk about him being given the number 7 jersey taken away from Cavani? Is that fact, or is that myth?
I'm sure they said. What did they say? Man, I can't believe now. I'm forgetting my languages, man.
Anyone want to help this guy?
I'm forgetting.
It's been a long day.
But yeah, they would have given a call to Cavani and say, "Hey, listen, man, are you okay with giving Jadon Sancho the number 7 shirt?" He's probably saying, "Yeah, cool, no problem." But hey, listen. What's this guy's name? Shoro coming on to say to only finish outside the top 4. I don't know what he's talking about. Such a negative person. Just say that, hey man, your club, Real Madrid, finished nowhere in La Liga last season. So yeah, let's come on. If you want something last season, you can talk to me, please, man.
Well, let's talk about top 4, and let's talk about the prospects of a certain club in London getting a new manager, another Portuguese manager, Nuno Espírito Santo. Is this going to be the new Portuguese B team in England?
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, that's what he did at Wolves, wasn't it? I think it's been such a long saga of Spurs finding a manager. It got pretty farcical at the end. But it is, I think, of all the many names that were thrown into the ring and then pulled out again, or pulled themselves out, or rejected, or protested against, I think Old Nez is probably a good option. I think he's got the Premier League experience. He's shown that he plays quite attacking front foot football, which is what Spurs have always been crying out for. Whether or not it works, you just never know. That your managers who've done well in other clubs have gone to separate clubs and they've not had a great time. But I think we've got kind of form. You think about Poch, he kind of proved himself at a club sort of sitting around mid-table, punching above its weight at Southampton. Then when he came to Spurs, it obviously lit it up. So it could potentially go that same way. Yeah, Arjun, it's been. I got to be honest. I had to be convinced. I had to, check a few sources to make sure it was truly legit, that he was really signed up. I was expecting there to be like another pullout or a statement, but yeah, he's in.
The pullout method isn't effective. We know that, so just be wary when you're doing that.
Yes, you could have. It's not 100%. If you're looking for that kind of advice, you're on the wrong show. But yeah, I think I'm interested to see. I think you've got to back him. Got to back the manager. There's no reason not to like him at the moment. I think he did his first little, PR interview earlier today, and it all sounded very good. He seems to have a good vision for making the club attacking again and working hard, building that team spirit. And now it's about what's going to happen between now and the close of the transfer window with Harry Kane, if we're going to bring anyone in. So we'll have to see. Portuguese B team, I wouldn't mind that. I'm married into that world too, so I'd be quite happy to see a few Portuguese players come through the Spurs ranks. I remember years ago really wishing that Spurs were going to buy Moutinho when Moutinho was still at Sporting. and it never happened then. But maybe, you never know, a swan song for the 37-year-old.
Matt, you've got a question here. Do you feel that Kane's going to stay at Spurs?
I don't know, to be honest. It's so hard to say because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Kane is not the kind of player who's going to cry to the media about it. He's not. He's never been that kind of player. So he might be pushing for a move, but he's not going to kind of slip stuff to the press. So it's really hard to say. I would be. Both outcomes wouldn't surprise me. You know, that he stays another season would be obviously fantastic for Spurs. But if we sold him for somewhere between 100 and 150 mil, you know, that would also make a lot of sense. It would be a very Daniel Levy thing to do, to then go buy 15 players, 5 of which end up having a half decent run at Spurs. So you just don't know. I wouldn't. If you're looking to me for where you should bet your money on it, then I won't. I couldn't say. I really couldn't say. I suppose a lot of it would depend how Kane does for the rest of the Euros. If he shoots the lights out, maybe.
Well, he finally scored a goal.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that. Maybe he's peaking at the right time. Don't know. But I need to say something before we continue, guys. Remember, I jumped on the show of StreamYard. So just in case, for those of you who don't know, we use StreamYard as the platform when we go live.
Land.
Yes, and we want a duck. And look, he arrived. His name is
That
Puddles.
is wicked.
We got a little mascot.
That's very cool.
Anyway, okay. So we've got one more thing to talk about before we head on to the Euros, and that is obviously the devil himself. I know we're talking about a player becoming the devil, but that's a metaphorical devil. Yeah, now we're talking about an actual snake. Benitez returning to Liverpool wearing the colors blue. I mean, what the hell? Thoughts on this? I mean, I've got my opinion. Wonga, you laughing? What are you thinking about this?
I didn't think much of it. Guys, I think Rafa did enough for you guys. And it's been so long. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm not a Liverpool supporter. I don't feel much into it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just feel Everton is Everton at the end of the day.
How would you feel if Wenger went to coach Spurs?
Yeah,
that would be very unfair on us.
And
we've gone through enough as it is.
And I know that wouldn't happen. But yeah, if you put it in that context, that's a sin, bro. Gee whiz, no ways.
So yeah, it's a sin here as well, man. It's definitely a sin, man. You can't.
Yeah.
You can coach.
Everton is Everton, man.
You can coach any team in the Premier League except for Everton and Man United as a former Liverpool great, because he's seen as a Liverpool great. He won you guys the what's his Istanbul. Istanbul is Rafa Benitez. You know what I mean? And he did so well with the club. You know, even though he didn't win the Premier League, but he won the Champions League. And that for Liverpool fans, they'll always remember him for that. And for him now to go across, across the park? Across Stanley Park or something, across the park to go coach at Goodison Park.
They've been in the pipeline for a couple of years, building their new beautiful lakeside. Well, it's not lake, dockside stadium, which has been in the works for the last I don't know how many years. So yeah, he's got that to look forward to. Personally speaking, when people always speak about Benitez and they always go, "No, you must respect Benitez as a Liverpool fan." I've never ever liked the guy, largely because I remember how he left the club. And I remember the shit states he left us in with the players. Also, how do you chase a player like Alonso away? That was the start of the rut. And when he left and everything he dealt with, this doesn't surprise me. This because he's 100% pragmatic. For him, this makes sense. So he's done it. He doesn't give a shit. It's all about doing the job. And this is also one of the reasons why he'll probably do really well at Everton. He's found a right club that he understands the culture of the club. He first has to win over the fans because that's going to be a bit of an issue. There's half of them going to be like, "Boy, you wore red first, you know?" Yep. So that's going to be a tricky thing for him. But in terms of the fabric of the club, it's completely right for this type of manager. And also, if he's getting the resources, which he wasn't getting at other places, I think there's potential here to make them a top 6 club and possibly bump out, I would say, an Arsenal, but we know they're top 10 club now. So maybe possibly bump out a Spurs team.
Possibly Liverpool, mate. You don't know how next season's going to go.
You never know.
That would be funny. Benitez all dressed in blue dancing on Liverpool's grave.
Anyway, so those are my 2 cents. I've had enough of that guy. Anyone, Cyril, you want to say one final piece about Benitez?
No, man, I think it's as you said, it's a strategic move for him. His family is still in Liverpool, have been living in Liverpool
Yes.
ever since he coached Liverpool, and even though he's been coaching all over the world, the family home is there. So he's just back at the family home. And yeah, all the best to him. I like Everton as a club. Even though I think they're the ones that the noisy neighbors for you guys, which is good for me. They keep you guys occupied, and then you don't have to worry about us too
Well,
much.
you're just hoping we land up being neighbors like Man City, like your neighbors. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but noisy neighbors. Let's see.
Amen.
Right, guys, time for talk about Euro
Yes.
2020. Are we ready? We're going to talk about the first quarterfinal game. And this is the big one for Goalloungetv because this is the team, like we said, he didn't want coming through, knock out France. And now they're playing Spain in the quarterfinals. That's
now,
the first game.
What is that now? Are you writing it in what language is that now?
Switzerland versus Spain.
But behind
No,
you,
it says-
it's SUI. And now in front of you, it's
It says
SWI.
SWI, and then it's got CH. Like it's Switch
Yeah.
versus
SPA, and then
Guys,
behind you, it's ESP.
España.
Way to ruin the competition that I was about to throw out there. Thanks, guys. Thanks for, I was going to say spot the difference, but good job. Good job.
Well, that was planned. That was. We're just going to have every country's name all in English. We're just forgetting that they speak a completely different language in Spain. Can you imagine how hard it must be to have to learn Spanish and learn football at the same time so that they can play for Spain?
Okay. Yeah. You were saying Spain versus Switzerland. Hey, and Diaz joined us as well now. But Spain versus Switzerland. Goalloungetv.
Hey,
What's
bro,
your captain doing, man?
Bro, for me, I don't know if it's really him or is it me, because I literally every team, especially in this last 16 that I said, okay, no, they're gonna win, literally lost. France obviously played Switzerland, they lost. Then it was Croatia versus Spain. I thought Spain were not going to be too good enough, and they went and they scored 5. Then they lost. England and Germany knocked out. Then Netherlands, my team, gone. Wales, gone. I was like, yo. So now I'm pretty much thinking maybe I'll just stick behind Switzerland.
Like the opposite of that
you should've.
octopus. Do you remember the octopus in 2010? You're like the anti-octopus.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What do you call an octopus with no legs? You're one of those,
But yeah, look, I mean, credit to them. They did well, and they found themselves. It was, if I'm not mistaken, they were exactly like Croatia. They were 2 goals down, and again, it would have written them off. And they came back, and I think they did enough to go to the penalties and win the game. It was literally France's game to lose. I mean, at that point in the match. And they surprised me. I'm pretty sure they surprised everyone else as well. And credit to them. And they've got. I think they probably got. Yeah, I mean, some people that think the teams going through would have probably wanted a Spain or a Ukraine or a Czech Republic or Denmark. But I mean, looking at Spain as well, I think them coming out, the way they started would have maybe been. People were looking at them and say, yeah, we can take advantage. But yeah, they're looking. I mean, scoring 5 goals in a match is not the easiest thing. So I think they're probably finding their form.
But on that note, I think that's valid in a sense that all the big look, everyone from Group of Death are all gone. They're out. They finished. All these so-called big teams now, the only ones that are left on paper are Belgium, Italy, and Spain. And even Spain, everyone had written off because of the squad that they have.
No,
England, but
you wrote them off, Claudio.
No, but a lot of other people wrote them off too.
I think we need to go back to the fact where you said that Spain will not beat Poland and will not qualify, and I said categorically Spain will beat Poland and qualify. I said that clearly, clear as day. I said that I believed that the players that they have, the quality that they had, eventually they were gonna score goals. And what did they do? They scored the goals. You know what I mean?
I just didn't believe in Morata. That was the thing. I just don't believe
Hey,
in
man.
Morata.
I think Spain haven't decided if they're going to be good or shit yet. Because in the same game, they'll play really, really well and really, really shit all at the same time. There is a lack of they've got quality, and that comes through because players will do a thing, but as a squad and as a team, there isn't a coherent system that they're playing to. And Spain was one of my teams, so I've also still got 2 in it, which is great.
Yeah.
But one of them, Spain, I didn't expect Spain to be here still. That you watch them play, and during 90 minutes, they don't play to a coherent system for 90 minutes. They're kind of all over the place. There's a little bit of, it's clear that players don't quite drill with one another. That they'll passes will be off, the runs are being made, and no one's seeing it. And I think they might pull that off against someone like Switzerland, who's a bit less. A bit less dynamic, a bit less. They although they showed against France, they can dig it out when they need to. But if they come up against an Italy or a Belgium, they're going to really struggle to make it work.
Yeah, that's true. That's typically
But what
true.
did everyone think about the French sort of collapse in terms of the penalties? When we're looking at penalties, I mean, you kind of, if you're watching it as a neutral, you kind of had the feeling that Switzerland were going to take it. Was it just me?
For me, I mean, look,
I had that feeling.
I think. Yeah, that's the thing about penalties. I mean, you never know. I mean, in my own opinion, I think that's another story as well. I mean, I just think that they should scrap penalties. I mean, after extra time, they must go play golden goal or something.
For how long? What if they don't score for like 2 hours?
Yeah, they must play until they score. They must play until they score.
Children and wives.
Penalties are gambling. Don't they do that in other sports as well? It's not like soccer would be the only sport that does that.
Like tennis, like tennis, the way where the final set, for instance, can be it goes and goes, and then it ends up being 26-24 at the end because that final,
but you see what I'm saying? I know we're going to another topic, but it's like but even what you're saying, they're still playing tennis. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're still playing the game of tennis. They don't go to like a thing where you just say let's serve.
True, they're not like just saying who hits the most serves or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're saying.
So you're saying, Matt?
Play.
Well, I was going to say that the issue is there that eventually it would just become a competition of which team is in better shape, better condition, because you can only substitute a certain amount of times, and then you'll have the equal thing of this is unfair because you might say France is a better side, but they tired sooner, so now they've lost, and then people will say we must bring back something more fair. Let's do penalties. Like I think penalties is fine. It keeps it time boxed because also then imagine you have to play. You play for 7 hours. It's now 3 a.m. You finally scrape a scrappy goal. It bobbles over the line. You all stagger home, and then 3 hours later you got to get up and play again. You're gonna stagger out there. You're still bleeding from the eyes, and like your legs hanging off, and now you got to go up against someone else.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That's already last man standing. Could you imagine
That's
the
true.
next game
That's
after
crazy.
three days of football? All you reminded me of there with Matt is when you're growing up playing football on the fields, playing Wembley, and there's like 20 of you playing, and someone hits a shot from far, and it comes off your toe and it goes in. You're like, I'm through, baby. And then there's like a whole bunch of contention. No, it touched me. No, I kicked the ball. That's all I can think of when you guys are explaining this. But also talking about penalties and that. I mean, the irony to all of this is Pum saying, obviously, time is money. But there you got UEFA scrapping the away goals so they can have the instance where you have more extra time and penalties. That's the irony behind all of this.
More drama. They want more and more drama. But I think I just want to touch on what Arjun said there, man, guys. Mbappe really didn't have a great tournament and didn't have a great game. And when he went to take that penalty, I could feel that he was going to miss it. If I could feel it, couldn't they feel it in the huddle? Couldn't they feel the like he was not confident. He had missed chances. Like you literally just give it to who else didn't, who hadn't taken by that time. I think Sissoko hadn't taken by the time. Pavard hadn't taken by the time. Varane hadn't taken. Rabiot hadn't taken by the time. Give it at least to one of those guys because Mbappe just didn't have the confidence the whole game. And I just felt he was going to miss.
Selo, I think that strategically would have made sense, but I think it's a good step for him in his career to go through that because he's still a young player. He's done a lot of good things with Paris Saint-Germain, and he's winning a lot of things. But this is a bit of a thing just to bring him back down and go, hang on, if you want to be the best, there's certain situations you've got to learn how to handle. And this is just one of those. And look, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, but I do think it's a good moment. Think of all the moments Ronaldo had gone through, a heartbreak with Portugal and other things. to get to where he's gotten now. And also it brings me to my next question, guys. Mbappe, if the talk about him not staying at PSG materializes and a club comes in for him, is he really going to be worth the amount of money they'd be demanding in a sense of 160 mil, especially given the fact that you've got a Sancho who's just gone for 75 mil when we're comparing the likes? Obviously, the one hasn't played for England this whole tournament, but I'm just saying, what would the valuation be in your mind for a player like Mbappe right now?
I think what PSG paid for him. Literally, I think they paid 150 million pounds. So yeah, whatever they paid for him just to get their money back, I think that would be fair. Not for him the price to go up. I don't think they should be making a profit. I think whatever PSG paid for him should be the price.
But they paid 167 mil or something. Is he worth that much realistically?
Okay, no, I would say 140.
Yeah, I think.
But
at the end of the day, it's the value is determined by the guy who's selling it, you know. And then again, you can always say potential based on what he did, but you never know what's going to happen in future. But I mean, you can see the kind of play he is, the athleticism that he has, the skill he has one-on-one. If he, I mean, he can get the best. He can get the best support in the world. They can literally pay for him every day to get the best coaches to advise him. And now, if he was to fine tune his game, he'll be lethal. There's no doubt about it. He'll be very lethal. So I think a price tag like that can be justified, and also then you get the marketing and all that stuff behind it. So hey, you can definitely justify a price tag over 160 something on the Mbappe.
Yeah, here's a valid thing that Pums is saying. He say the Real Madrid chats are getting to him. How much of a role do you think that affected his tournament with regards to speculation and his next move?
I think one thing we also need to think about, these players have had a long old 18 months as well, you know, and psychologically it's been heavy for them. They've all been in bubbles, which changes the way you live your life anyway. So a lot of the players coming into this tournament have not had the tournament we'd expected of them. Even you talked about Kane earlier. He hasn't come in and just shot the lights out yet. And the Mbappe had a slow tournament. You look across the German side, there's players that didn't quite step up. Muller, I mean, Werner was having a rough season anyway, but he didn't find his way here. You know, across the board, there's players who Bruno Fernandes, and I think there's a lot to be said for. It may not be one particular thing, but it could just be that players are suffering incredible fatigue and stress, and that stuff overhangs. And you know, you can have all the support in the world, but you know, these simple things that we take for granted during a normal pre-season, normal run up to a tournament, they wouldn't have been allowed to go spend the last couple of days before leaving with family and friends because they can't leave the bubble. And that for a lot of players, that's a big thing. You go home, have dinner with your mum before you leave for a tournament. That kind of stuff wouldn't have potentially been possible. And I think that's something also to consider for certain players. Some players can adapt to that kind of thing a lot better than others. And I think that's something to think about in terms of the way we judge players in this tournament. I would not put too much by it. I don't think the likes of Kane and Mbappe are going to see their price or stock or reputations drop dramatically from a slightly off tournament, because I think you look at them over the course of 2-3 seasons, what they bring to a side, what they do to, you know, the players around them. I mean, definitely Kane and Kane may be overpriced, and Mbappe may be overpriced, but ultimately it's about what people are prepared to pay for it. Someone like City, someone like Real Madrid, they've got the money. They invest in a player like that. They know they're gonna be able to make it back through shirt sales and marketing and image rights and all of these other things that we know they make money from. So it's not a loss for them. They're not. Look, we know these places are businesses. They're not stupid. Us saying, "Hey, he's not worth that much," they'll be like, "You don't know how we make our money." So you know, it's. True. I think that's the thing to consider.
And to add on to what you just said, Matt, you know, a lot of people like to complain about the price tags and valuations of players. Listen, at the end of the day, someone actually said today or yesterday, they were looking at like Declan Rice, for instance, right? The fact that West Ham is also valuing him at like £100 million, and you as a person who wants to buy the player, the question is, how does West Ham value him? They see him as an integral part of his team, of their team, and the age at which he's at, and also the length of his contract that he has currently, which is not that it's expiring in a year's time where they're going to lose him for free. So that 3 years or 4 years that he still has in his contract, they're looking at, no, we can keep this guy for another 2 years and still play for us, and then we can maybe sell him when he has 2 years left or 1 year left on his contract. And that's what we're saying. If you take him now, we're losing out on the 4 years that we were anticipating for us to have him. And that's why, like, for instance, for the Kane instance, Kane has probably a two years left to his contract. That's
4,
why
I think.
you see, even
three
you
now.
see, or 3. You see, so you got 3 years left. So that's where the valuation come in and say, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is where we value him, you know. And we can't say, it's overpriced. It's overpriced. It's not us who's making the price. The price is set by the club that's selling. And at the end of the day, if there's someone willing to buy the player, they're gonna come in with that money, and it's not our money. First and foremost, it's not our money. So let's not complain about it. You know. Just allow them to do as they please. You know, as you as a Spurs fan, you don't want to be getting 80 million pounds for Harry Kane. You want to be getting 120, 140 million pounds because you want to at least be able to replace him with quality players. And I think that's how transfers are, and especially in the English Premiership where there's so much money in the Premier League, players, teams are expecting you to pay above the market value sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
And
if you look at
that
it,
is okay. Yes, one.
I was going to say, Piers. Sorry, man. The Piers. In terms of Mbappe, I think we mustn't also forget that he did win the World Cup, and he was 19, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. So you know, and I see a lot of things. You know, people are like saying, Mbappe this, Mbappe that. Yeah, at times I do feel, you know, they maybe overrate him at the times, but I think, look, he is a good player. There's no doubt about it, and the potential for him to be the best, like Will Ballon d'Or, is a possibility there for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
what you've all said is the bunch of factors that go into assessing the valuation of the player. Obviously makes sense from a settle perspective when we consider what that player can do for a club moving forward and how many points they get, which obviously moves them high up the table, which equates to more money. Obviously sold shirts, all these things are factors. Okay, fantastic. Great. Now, prediction time for this game. We're going to do predictions. We're going to talk about the games and we're going to give our prediction.
I even forgot we were speaking about Switzerland and Spain.
Yeah, we're meant to talk about this thing. So Switzerland, Spain, guys, quick. We're going to Celo, Wonga, Muti. Let's hear your predictions. Come on, let's hear them.
I'm saying Spain to win it 3-2. I think there's a lot of goals. 3-2.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be 5-4. I think Spain have
said
found
could be
they're gonna have
2-2
long
draw.
periods of playing terrible.
Oh, sorry, it's freezing on my side.
No problem.
Okay.
Go
Let's
ahead,
just
go
go in
ahead,
the order
Matt.
that Claudio said. I don't mind. It's fine. I reckon it's gonna be 5-4 to Spain. I think it's gonna be. I think there's gonna be long periods where Spain look like they don't know what they're doing. There's gonna be long periods where they dominate and just bang them in. I think it's gonna be an absolutely mad game. I think they'll both lead at different points. I reckon it's gonna finish 5-4, maybe after extra time.
Oh, 5-4.
Jeepers, that's a shitload of goals. I hope that happens.
And I think Arjun's gonna tell us they're all gonna happen after the 90th minute.
Dubravka's been knocked out, bro. No goals from Dubravka.
Yeah, I think. I mean, look, I would hope you think that both teams learn from each other, and probably they won't get surprised coming this round. So I'm thinking maybe it won't be that hard. Maybe let's say 2-2, draw, and maybe then Spain win it 3-2 in extra time. But yeah, I don't think they'll be surprised for each other. If they do concede a lot of goals on other teams, then that's just foolish because they've literally been watching each other. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the Pumalani and Armand camp. I'm gonna say 1-0 victory to Switzerland. That's where my sort of prediction is headed. Guys, Belgium, Italy. A lot to discuss here because arguably the two favorites of the tournament as things stand. I don't know if we talk about the Belgian performance getting to this moment in time, seeing as we've got.
I think we need to talk about the defending champions getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Like we spoke about, like we touched on.
Wait, before we do, just so I know, we are calling this the Celo Derby, hey? Like,
this is the
yeah. Just so, because it's going to be easier than saying the whole Belgium versus Italy. I think the Celo Derby, it rolls off the tongue. There's a T-shirt in that. You know, put in your orders now.
Yeah, man, it's coming, man. It's coming.
Oh wait, we didn't. Where's this? We didn't actually speak about this, guys.
Hey,
Where's
man,
that?
tell them to put in their orders. Tell them in the
Yeah, they
US,
really are
it's
T-shirts,
advert.
guys. They really
Tell
are
them.
T-shirts.
Claudio, can you please stand up again so you can model the shirts again for us, please? Just stand up, the model, please stand up, Claudio. Just yeah, guys, everyone, This is the Goal Lounge
I
t-shirt.
mean, there's only so much you can do to show off a
Family
t-shirt.
club.
Oh, hang on. I've got more. Hold on.
Family club. There you go. Uncut.
Go up a little bit higher,
Up.
There we
Uncut.
go.
Number 10. They're gonna be on sale soon. So
All
get
right,
your orders in. Orders in.
But yeah, enough plugging that in. Okay, we're going to talk about Belgium, Italy, and the performance. Matt, you support Portugal. Dia is saying, why are we so serious today? Because, Dia, this is a serious matter. Football, sometimes, it's our heart is on the line. That's what we love. Okay, so Portugal, Matt, take me through your emotions, and I'll take everyone through mine after this game.
It was a really weird game because there were long periods where it just felt like Portugal were just seconds away from scoring. There were so many chances. There was so much control. Belgium didn't look great. I mean, their goal, don't get me wrong, that was an incredible finish. Thorgan Hazard, it was an amazing, contender for goal of the tournament. Very well taken. Keeper had no chance. Amazing. But at the same time, there was long periods where Belgium didn't look in it. The players were tired. Eden Hazard, not the goal scoring Hazard, the other Hazard, didn't quite look up for it. Even before he got injured and had to leave, he didn't quite look up for it. Portugal did have a lot of chances. Ronaldo did the Ronaldo thing. He shouldn't be taking free kicks at tournaments. I don't know why no one in the Portugal camp has had that conversation. Is he so in control of everything that he just says no to any of those conversations?
He's Jomo Sono. You know, Jomo Sono is the coach, the chairman for a bus driver.
Yeah, he writes the theme tune. He sings the theme tune. Like, it's all just. And I think that. But that said, you can't write off Ronaldo. There were also, he had some moments where he really showed his class. He's creating chances. He's getting in the right places. But it was just a really frustrating game. As a Portugal fan, you sort of watching it thinking that there was the Felix header, there was the Felix shot, where you just think there's so much opportunity for this to go Portugal's way. I mean, credit to Belgium, they held on to the bitter end. The defense, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Vermaelen just throwing themselves in front of shots, and they looked old by the end of the game. They did, and it was. But I reckon overall, that Belgium probably deserved to go through on the balance of play, but Portugal did not do any kind of do themselves any favors.
How do you? You got a request there. Can you please just name the starting lineup of Portugal, please, man?
All right. So we've got Rui Patricio, we've got Pep, we've got Ruben Dias, we've got Rafael Guerreiro. We've got Jose Fonte, he didn't play. Cristiano Ronaldo. Or in Madeira, if you go to Madeira, not mainland island, you say Ronaldo. So then you got João Moutinho.
João Moutinho.
Yeah.
So then we got which other one? Who's a nice one?
Ruben Neves.
Neves, yeah.
Neves.
Yeah.
Neves. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. Renato Sanches. Then João Cancelo, then Diogo Jota. That's not anyway. So we've had enough fun there. Obviously, João Felix. We forgot Felix there. Okay, but overall, the gameplay, guys. I'm going to talk about the gameplay. So, looking at how the game unfolds, first 15 minutes, it's all Belgium, and I'm quite impressed with this. I'm going, this is going to be interesting. But then at the same time, I'm going, look how these guys have set up. When you play with the way Belgium play, and this is where my concern is for them, they've got three attacking players that are very good in the form of, we don't know if Kevin De Bruyne is going to be fit, but you've got Lukaku, De Bruyne, and Hazard. And they have been given complete creative license. The rest of them do the dirty work. The two players I was very impressed with were Tillemans and Alex Witsel. Fantastic. They're the ones controlling. They're sitting in back of the front three with the wing back. So they were defending at all times. So the first 50 minutes, they have all the ball. Then all of a sudden you go, well, this game's going to switch. Without that goal, this game is going to switch. It was always going to do that. And that goal comes out of nowhere. And then this is where I go back and I say, if Courtois was in Portugal's goal, does that still get scored? It was a great hit. Great. It doesn't get scored. And that was the difference between the two games. And Portugal on the day had all the chances. They didn't take their chances. Also, if we're going to be very critical, as you are in tournament football, if you're going to be critical of anyone, it's always the manager, because the manager's got all the players at their disposal.
Wait. If you're doing the Portuguese accent, you can't say manager. You got to say manager.
The Portuguese don't say that. They don't
That's
say
how
manager.
I've heard it said. Manager. I'm telling you.
Oh, the manager. No, the manager. Oh, manager. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm just saying if you're going to be critical, you be critical of the manager because I don't think he
Yeah.
knew his best lineup. He was tinkering far too much. And also for me, he brings on João Felix now to change the game. The guy hasn't had a run out the whole tournament. And now he brings him in at this time to try and do something. I was like, dude, if you're going to do that at some point, bring him on earlier in other games where he could have gotten a feel for it. But now you're expecting big things off these guys. So I don't think he got that right. But anyway, overall, guys, I know we're meant to be talking about the Belgium-Italy game. Settle your Italy side, taking on this Belgium side. I've got my sort of view after watching Belgium. But what do you think from the Italy perspective?
Man, listen, I think first and foremost, Italy, the game they played against Austria was tough. Austria played a very good game, and they could have won it in the end. And obviously, I think just the quality of Italy shone through. But yeah, man, what's this? Immobile hit the post. I think first and foremost, for Italy to want to go through in this next game, they need to firstly change their right winger, bring on Federico Chiesa as the right winger first and foremost, and then also for Belgium, I think if Belgium have Lukaku, De Bruyne, and Hazard, which I doubt they'll have both Hazard and De Bruyne, even maybe just one of them playing is also being hopeful. I think they need to be very careful the quality of that team. I think this is definitely the first time they're playing a team that's ranked above them in this tournament. Every other team that they've played is ranked below them, and also the quality of the opponents in terms of the what they can do. I think this is going to be their biggest challenge. So they need to be very, very much careful. And the thing with Belgium is that Belgium have this. I don't want to say old defense, but the defenders are all above the age of 30.
Dude, they had five players in that starting lineup, over 100, 5 players with over 100 caps.
100 caps. I know. Their five most capped players are all in the team. You know what I mean? So that just shows you how long this team has been playing together. You can take advantage of their lack of pace, but Italy don't have those quick players. They don't have a Moise Kean in their team that they picked. Someone to exploit them with the balls behind the defense. So I think Italy will just need to be quite clever. I didn't like the way Verratti played against Austria. He played very well in the last group game, but played very poorly against Austria. He was playing for fouls. He was thinking that he's at PSG again. So I need him to remember that this is Italy. He's playing for Italy and not playing for PSG. Neymar's not there to say, hey, man, let's fall on the ground together and stuff like that. You need to be playing, you need to stand up, you need to be strong in the challenge.
Stella, what I'm getting from this is you're supporting more Italy than Belgium in this scenario, even though it's now or never for Belgium.
I have to support Italy. I have to support Italy because that's the team that I went into the tournament with. That's the team that I picked out of the hat to say, this is the team that I want to support. And Forza Azzurri, let's go. And also, I've been to Italy and I've never been to Belgium. Let's go.
Yeah.
I've been to 3 cities in Italy, so let's go.
Nice. Okay, on that note, you're going. So let's hear that prediction then.
1-0 to Italy.
Yeah, I reckon let's go. I reckon 1-0 Italy. I used to be a tense game. I think both sides are going to go into this knowing that there's a risk, but I think Italy are going to pull it off.
I can give Belgium a shot there. I say 1-0 to Belgium, and I say that'll happen in extra time even.
You're backing Belgium. I don't think they've got it, and I don't think Martinez is the right guy to get there. I think they're done, man. After seeing them against Portugal, I just don't know. I think the Italians, Mancini's got a lot more swaggers, a lot more confident. So yeah. Oh, but look, we've got more guys. We've got Louis saying Belgium, and so far he's leading out. Is he still leading the Super Brew League there, Cyril?
Yeah, I think Louis is leading. But guys, to be honest, that Super Brew round was rubbish from all of us. No one got a point. I think literally people just got 1 point in like this last round, 1 or 2 points. No one really shot the lights out. Let me just check. It's loading here. Super Brew number 1 is Louis. Number 2 is Storm. Number 3 is Pums. Number 4 is Dev Dirty Purple. Number 5, Friend the Man. Number 6, Debato, and then it goes along, and and I'm ahead of Claudio of course.
I forgot to make my predictions for the first two. Anyway, okay. Yeah, guys, I'm in the Italian camp. Like I said, when we were speaking to Nick on the weekend. By the way, if you guys haven't seen that video yet, we did finally make our way to studio. For those who have liked and watched and commented, we appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Italy. I'm going to say 1-0 Italy. Next game we need to really talk about, because there's a lot of romanticism here. And my winner, or the team I'm backing, is Denmark. So we need to talk about this. Czechoslovakia, Denmark. What an opportunity for both teams.
No, bro. This is not 1991, please, bro.
No, but 1991, they had that rule where they could pass back to the keeper and waste time.
92.
But yeah.
92. Yeah, there we go. Matt was old enough to remember.
Yeah.
Whose teams are these, by the way? Denmark and the Czechs.
Both of them are Knicks, so it's the Nick Derby.
Okay, that's the Nick Derby. Oh, the Nick Derby. I literally, guys, Denmark obliterated Wales. I think the confidence is high. They got a great defense. All their defenders play for top teams. You know, Christensen, Chelsea, Southampton, and then Kjaer plays for AC Milan. So all their defenders play for good teams. And I like the fact that players that have been given an opportunity due to injuries are doing well. You know, so Dolberg came on because Paulson was injured, and he scored 2 goals. So I think they've got the depth, and they will do well against the Czechs. I think the romance for the Czechs is over. Yes, Suchek and so on, and Schick and Masup.
He's got a terrible goal-scoring record in the Bundesliga. He's just having a hell of a tournament. It reminds me of Milan Baros. Yeah. Baros, when he played for the Euros for Czech, he scored 5 goals. He did everything. He came back to Liverpool. He scored 1 goal in like 40 games. I'm like, this is some deja vu.
But it also
He's going to buy him, you reckon?
Didn't also happen? It happens quite a bit with these players, man. I remember there was also Matej Kezman as well. Did well as well in the European Championships. Went back to Chelsea, was poor. So man. So if whoever buys Schick, you know, I think I can see like a West Ham buying like a Schick. You know, he'll do poorly for them, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I mean, look, Czech Republic did very well against Netherlands. I don't know, for me, maybe they were unfortunate to get let sent off there. But they said Czech Republic were the first team since the 1980s to deny, and we've seen the Netherlands teams in the past. And they said they're the first team since the 1980s to deny Netherlands a shot on target. And that's
they never shot on target.
That's what they said. That's what
I mean, should we be really impressed by Czechoslovakia, or is this just one of those things that we know, like Netherlands weren't actually very good this tournament?
Guys, but remember, all season we were saying the Premier League was drunk. Maybe the Euros are drunk too. You know, like everyone's just wasted. Because this is also this is like the first time since I think the 50s or something that a European Championship or a World Cup hasn't had France or Germany in the last 8.
Wow.
I stand to be corrected on the facts. It's a stat. Something like that. So 50s or 80s or whatever.
Optimat coming through. Optimat.
Yeah.
No, don't take Wonga's role. Wonga's got his iPad there. He's working. He's up to Wonga. He's trying to get in.
Check me here. You know, you can fact check me, but it's the first time since a long time that there's been no France or Germany in the last 8 of either a World Cup or a Euro. And so I think maybe the Euros are just as drunk as the Premier League was, or maybe they went to the same party and the Euros are still hungover. I don't know, because it is a weird one. So maybe Czech are going to go all the way. I think Denmark are going to win it. I think they've got momentum. They've got a clear system. They're playing to Czech Republic. They had a good game against Netherlands, but I think Netherlands didn't do themselves any favors. I think after the red card, they still should have been able to pull something together, and they crumbled.
Yeah.
So I reckon Denmark are going to pull this off. I think they've got the romance behind them. I think that's the story arc plays a big role.
Wonga, what did you want to finish there? You were looking something up and you want to say something.
No, I wasn't looking up. I was just saying that. No, that was just my point. I mean, and I think the fact. They've done well to defend. I mean, Netherlands is a team. They've beat this tournament itself. They've scored a lot of goals. And Netherlands did have 7 shots, but I mean, they none of them were on target. And I think Denmark, yes, they've got a clear system, they play well, but it's definitely not going to be easy to break them down. And for what I'm looking here, I think Denmark are not going to have, if this thing's correct, sometimes they don't update, but I think there's 3 players. I think Vas, obviously Eriksson won't play, and I think there's Poulsen, that they said as well, that won't be available as well.
That's correct.
There's always an Eriksson, a Poulsen, and an Olsen. There's always in these Danish, in the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, they've got a full squad, Czech Republic, but I think Denmark, those injuries are not, I don't think are much of a concern for them. But it will be a tight game, I think, definitely.
All right, guys, just before we give our predictions for this one, we got an important question to answer. Dia's question asking, is Ronaldo still playing football?
Can I answer this one?
No.
Which one?
He may well still be playing, but he's not playing in the Euros.
Yeah, no, his time is done there. His time is there. All right, so
wait, doesn't Dia follow him on Instagram? She'll see that he's on holiday probably by now.
These are fresh wounds. Right, Selo, what's your prediction?
My prediction for this one is 3-1 to Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 3-1, 2-1, Denmark. It's gonna be Denmark gonna win it.
Yeah, I think Denmark will also take it. Won't be easy, but I'll say 1-0. I think the Czechs will make it very difficult for them.
Yo. Guys, Arjun coming in here with the 6-0 victory to Denmark. I think guys, this has me a bit worried because I'm also leaning on the fence of the 2-1 Denmark sort of scoreline, but Louis is also saying that. Pums is saying that. And so is Amma. So now I'm a bit worried because if too many people are saying this, we know this is football just goes, no. We see the script that you're writing. We're going to tear that shit up and throw it in your face. But anyway, I'm going to say one. It always happens to you. Okay, come on now. We're going to say 1-0 Denmark. All right, now to answer one of football's longest running questions. Yeah. So get those. Yeah, is it coming home? That's the question.
I need to get the song.
Okay, get the song. I mean, Matt, this is your time to shine. You're wearing the colors. It's all your country. You didn't. There's no show. Your throat is still sore from all the screaming.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, wait. Please, Matt. First and foremost, please set the scene for us. From 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. You and your 2 sons set the scene in a quick 5 minutes.
Yeah. So we're in the lounge. We got the two of me and my oldest son. He watched the whole game with me. The little one was sort of in and out, but I think he could even feel the tension. So eventually, even my 3-year-old, he's sitting there with me. He knows something's happening, and I was feeling it like it was a long time coming. And we looked good at moments. Germany also had their chances, so it was feeling really tense. And you got to know, for an English fan, Germany is it's the scary one. You just don't know what's going to happen. So it was, as much as I was feeling confident, I felt like we had the best chance we were ever going to have to win this game. The more it goes on, the more I'm thinking, what if it doesn't? What if they just nick one? What if we throw this away? When Sterling finally scored, guys, it was pandemonium in my house. I've never screamed like that for a goal. My throat is still sore. It is, and both boys with me, and I'm throwing them in the air, and we're jumping around. It was the most beautiful memory with my boys that I'm ever going to have. It was so intense.
It's so funny, Matt. When you say my boys, I keep thinking like you're at the pub with all your mates. Go, yeah, me and my boys. I picked them all up. Your 3-year-old and your 7-year-old.
It's my boys.
Also,
it's even
sorry, Matt. Before you continue, M-Dog is in the house. So thanks again for making another appearance. It's not coming. No, it's not. It's definitely not coming home. It's not coming home.
Had that playing the whole afternoon, the whole build up to the game. It was just the whole of Tuesday was all about it. I'm in meetings with work and I'm telling people like they want to what's happening later today, and I'm like, football's happening. Like you got to watch it, And it was the build up was amazing. I started to feel tense like just before and then during the game, and then when Kane got the second, and then it was clear, like we've probably done enough. We're going to win. The relief and the joy, and at the final whistle, I've got both my boys in my arms. I'm jumping around the room, just like, it's happened. It was too much. It was too much.
But the question though now, Matt.
Yeah.
Is it going to keep happening? Or is this one of those sort of situations where everyone's getting so excited that it's just all in your favor right now and, they choke?
Yeah, so look, I think there's a couple of things at play. So on the one hand, England have on paper an easier run to the final than some of the other big teams.
Yeah.
But it is a knockout competition, and ultimately no game is completely easy. And you don't want to get complacent, and it's so hard as an England fan because you start to believe, and I can sit here and be all sensible with you guys, but as soon as the game starts, it's humming home. And then, but at the other hand, like you also look at what Southgate's doing. He's getting a lot of criticism for his selections, but the more I think about it, he plays each game to its specific strengths, and he seems to know exactly what to do for each game. So he's not picking. Because England historically have done that. England will pick the best 11 players regardless of position. We had times where we had Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes in the same team. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, where's your wing? Where's your width on that? What's the actual plan there? Who's going to track back properly and all of that? And I think that's what Southgate does is put together the team that's going to win the game that's in front of him. That's what he did with Germany. It's what he did with Czech. It's what he tried to do with Scotland, but the forwards didn't quite get it over the line. And I think, so in that regard, I feel confident that he'll go into this game with the right plan. And I feel like on paper, we could beat Ukraine. We know we could beat Czech Republic. We've already done it. We could beat Denmark. Whether or not we will, there's so many factors at play. You can get unlucky. Look at Germany. We got really lucky when Muller missed that chance, when he was clean through, when we were still just 1-0 up. That would have changed the complexion of the game. And you would have expected 9 times out of 10, you'd expect a player like him to put it away. Yeah. And that would have changed the whole game. So,
but don't you think that kind of like summed up Germany's where they're at as a nation, footballing nation is that player missing that chance for the generation under the current manager or they're going to be the past manager.
And also, exactly. The symbolism of it being Muller as well, because I'm pretty sure Germany always have either a Muller or a Muller in the squad, and they always score against England. Because I've got memory after memory throughout my childhood and teens of hearing Muller or Muller and England going out. And I think the fact that he was through, it's sort of. He was going to score. And have you guys seen the video of Sterling's reaction when it happened? Because it was his pass. He did the pass, and he falls down. He does that, and then when he misses, he falls down on his knees, like such relief. Yeah, and Rice, I think it was Rice, goes over and picks him up, like, "Go on, we got this." And it was just that little microcosm of England's togetherness against Germany's kind of slight frailties at the moment. And I think Werner also had a chance early on in the game before there was a goal where he was clear through and. Werner was Werner. Even there was. I think Claudio's right. I think it's symbolic of the German side in slight decline, and they're going to have to transition now into a new generation. They're not what they once were, but it's still huge for England to have because we've not been a side historically that's got mental fortitude. No. I can't remember the last time England beat a big team in a knockout competition like this. So it was huge.
I mean, your question, Claudio, I think the best person to even answer that would have been you. I mean, as a Liverpool supporter, they literally went through it. I don't know what they were singing, but when Gerrard slipped, they lost a 3-0 lead, all that stuff. That was hectic, and that's when Liverpool literally thought they won the league. They thought, we've got this, so many points clear. Then they lost it, but in the next season...
But this is worse. This is worse because this is very favorable. When we're looking at the last few fixtures, guaranteed now. And also let's look at the pressure being amplified. Guaranteed, the media is already saying the expectation now for England is to go all the way to the final.
Yes,
but no reason why they shouldn't. Did you see Liverpool as well? I know
except for the quarterfinal. Except for the quarterfinal, every other match is at home.
Exactly, and that's the other thing. The final's being played at Wembley.
But Liverpool, who did they play when they lost the 3-0 lead? It was against
Palace.
Wasn't it wasn't it Norwich?
Guys,
Or the
guys, you
Palace,
gotta leave
Steelers.
Claudio alone.
Palace.
You know, Portugal.
that was-
Football. We are talking
3-0.
about the Euros. Can we please actually talk about?
No,
the
I'm just
present
saying.
right now?
It's the same. It's the same thing. I just thought you'd be the best person to answer it because it's literally
No.
the same thing.
You
I
bring
don't know
pain
if
back
it's
to
the
this
same
man.
And
I
So
don't-
what
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
is Germany need Klopp. That's what Liverpool did to fix it.
You know,
Germany can say
interesting
Klopp.
thing. But interesting thing about that, Henderson's come out saying the rivalry between Germany and England, especially in the game that was played, wasn't as high as it normally was in the past, largely because the English media have taken to a Klopp. Now, I don't know how valid that is, but I do think maybe they go, well, this is a likable German guy, so maybe we don't mind the Germans as much, which is quite an interesting thing. I do want to speak about Pumalani saying Jack Grealish needs to start, or we're going to settle with him being an impact player. And it comes back down to that point where you're talking about how Southgate sets up. And again, we know tournament football, you don't concede, you go far. Winning 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And at this moment in time, especially in the game against Germany, you can't argue the fact that him coming off the bench was the right decision. Matt, how do you feel about that?
So I think I go back to at the moment I've got faith that Southgate's going to pick the side that's going to do best on the day. I do think England's spoilt for choice in terms of that creative kind of player. We've got Sancho, we've got Grealish, you look at the game Saka has been having. I mean, Saka was amazing against Germany. When England early on in the game, England were pinned back. They looked kind of a bit unsure of themselves, and it was Saka making the runs. He was getting in behind. He was pushing defenders, getting them tied up in knots. So I think, in a way, it's kind of a good problem to have. Like, can we put Grealish in the side? But I'm glad we're not just shoehorning all of our attacking players in and hoping for the best. I think we're approaching games correctly. We haven't conceded a goal yet, which, as you know, is a huge factor in knockout football. If you don't concede, you're going to be all right. And that's a huge thing. So if we can keep that solidity, I'll feel good. For me, the big story for England has been the phenomenal partnership between Rice and Phillips. I mean, Phillips is immense. The ball carrying he does, the chances he creates, the movement he does. Yeah, and it just he because you think, oh, we've got two defensive midfielders. Do we really need that against every team we play? But then Phillips doesn't really play like a proper defensive midfielder, because as soon as he gets the ball, he's turning around and looking for gaps and moving the ball forward. And you often see him then run on beyond and get in the box. So I think that's also a huge factor in why we're doing okay. And at the same time, I like the idea of having someone like Grealish and Foden on the bench. I mean, what a pleasure. You know, like against Germany, it wasn't quite going away. You get to bring on Grealish, and look what he did. So I think that there's nothing wrong with that kind of approach. And I bet the squad have been talking about that as well. It's not like Grealish gets surprised every time when they announce the starting 11. He knows what's going on. They would have had long talks about this, and he'll know what his role is. These guys are professionals. They've got their eyes on the prize. They want to lift the trophy. They're not there to get minutes. And I think that's something to, and it's clear from the way they play, there's a huge squad togetherness here in the England squad, which was
very
even
different.
evident.
Very different. From the past
it was starting.
teams.
It's been this way all the way through under Southgate. He's done it even in 2018. We saw it. He does a really good job of in kind of engendering this sense of togetherness and this willingness to push for the team rather than for the individual, which I think is why we're doing really well. And it could all come down. I think that tournament football is the way it is. There's no guarantees in this thing. But this is a better look in England than I've seen in a long time.
Right, and on that note, it is time, gentlemen, Selo, Wonga, for the prediction. Ukraine, England. Can Shevchenko cause an upset, or is it going to keep going one step closer to the room home for England? I don't know where I was going with that one. Selo, let's hear it.
Yeah, let's go for a 2-1 to England. Let's get them their first goal that they're going to concede, because I think 2-1 to England.
I reckon 2-0 to England. I don't think Ukraine's going to be the side to score a goal against us. I think we're going to win 2-0. But I'm going to be tense the whole game.
This optimism is what brings them down.
It looks weird on me, right? It's
it sounds like a Liverpool
fan. Yeah, this year's our
there
year,
you go,
guys.
Wonga. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll agree with Pumlani there. I think a 3-0 to England. Probably they'll get early goals, and then Ukraine will probably try and obviously get something back. And in that, England will get a third goal. And I think it'll be end up 3-0 to England.
Yeah, guys. I mean, Ukraine were ridiculously lucky to survive against Sweden. I mean, Sweden was one of my other sides. I watched it on another day.
They hit the post
Forsberg hits
twice.
a hat trick. I mean, and then they score right at the end of extra. It was mental. Poor Shevchenko was happy. And you know what? They will get knocked out by England. Everyone will expect that. And they'll still go back home as heroes because there's nothing in their country. I've been to that country and I couldn't believe that some of the buildings, when I was catching a taxi ride with the guys, looking like, oh yes, these are new buildings. And I'm like, what? I was like, these things are horrendous. Little chocolate boxes, they were terrible. Terrible. And absolutely no color. For a country who's got blue and yellow in their flag, I know I'm going off topic here, but everything in that country is just dull and gray. Anyway, but they're nice people. I mean, quite cold. Anyway, I'm really going off topic.
He's really trying to convince us. They're nice people.
He's softening the blow because he knows that there's millions of people in Ukraine watching this, and they're like, "Come on, Claudio," and he's like, "Look, I'm putting you out of the tournament, but I like you." And that's the main thing.
But this was an interesting. I mean, Arjun saying Zinchenko, I couldn't believe the influence that he has on. Is he
scoring an own goal? That's a bit harsh, Arjun. Leave the guy alone.
Bro, listen. With them going forward, it's always him coming down the left, and it's a ball in the box. Actually, I couldn't You don't realize
him and Yarmolenko are so important for that team, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't believe how important, because, I mean, you look at Man City, I don't rate him highly, but then when I see the balls he's delivering, I was like, holy shit, this guy's got quality and he's really backing his side. Look, he's still going to lose 3-1, in my opinion, but yeah.
But remember, that was the issue. One of the sticking points for England against Germany was Germany's wingbacks. And you saw the way they got forward against Portugal and what a important outlet they were for Germany. And again, Southgate set up really nicely. He put Shaw and Trippier on, who are really good. They're obviously very good getting forward, but they're also both really good defensively as wingbacks. And I think that they'll have a similar kind of setup. They'll go into this knowing that that's an important outlet for them, and they'll set up the team to counter it in an effective way. So I think the challenge for Ukraine is that they don't have a lot of other options. I think whereas Germany, England could counter the wingbacks to a certain extent, and they were kind of meeting them. But then Germany had a lot of other options. I mean, Poor Kimmich had an amazing game for Germany. He put some really dangerous balls in, and on another day they could have put one or two of those away. And I think that the challenge for Ukraine is that they don't have a lot of other kind of outlets across the field.
Yeah, that's valid. Right, guys. And that pretty much wraps up the show for this evening. Do we have any final thoughts before we leave?
I mean, it's coming home. That's got to be it, right?
Suck it to leave Arsenal.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, he's going to get snapped up by big club now.
Are you signing him, Claudio?
He's going to be Benitez first signing at Everton.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Guys,
Wonga would be really angry about that, guys. Don't set it up, please, guys.
You put it out into the universe now, mate. Whatever the universe chooses to do with it, it can't be blamed on us.
No. But I don't think he's staying at Arsenal. He's not staying at Arsenal. All right, guys, I'm going to count down to 3, and you know how to end the show. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Stop it. Come on, Matt. Get with the program.
I didn't know what we were building up for there. I'm used to the cool down bit. So I'm like, what do you want to be cool?
Oh, you know why, guys? Because he only ever rocks up to the cool down. This is actually a reminder that this is the first pre-match Muti that he's attended in I don't know how long.
It is. It's been a while. I couldn't do Tuesday. It was too much after the England game. I know we didn't end up doing a show, but there was no way I could have made it after that game. I was a wreck, boys.
All right, sorry.
How do you place orders?
Yes, I forgot about that. So, guys, for those of you on the Discord channel, please join our Discord. We can chat there. Send us the address. We make plans. We're also going to have it on our website soon, but it's not up yet. But yes, please join our Discord channel. We chat. We have chats there. Is there anything else I'm forgetting, guys, that I need to tell people?
Nothing, bro. Just nothing.
Oh, no. I'm forgetting something. No, I'm forgetting something. So remember, I mentioned Epic Games. And now some of you might be thinking, it's all the gaming stuff. So it's not Epic Games, but it's a local it's a local distributor in South Africa. And we all know Panini cards. Do you guys know the cards? Wongo, you know more about them after Saturday's chat. Do you know a little bit
Yeah, I
more
just
about
knew
Panini
Panini
cards?
bread, but now I know Panini cards.
Right, so
Nice.
the Panini cards, so they're those collector cards. And there's a particular batch of cards that were given out for the Euros that are circulating in a game that you can play online.
Show us a little example. Show us a little example. We got like 5 minutes for you.
I don't know. Do we do that now? Do we do that? Because we kind of, it's a surprise. Just keep your eyes peeled. It's gonna be coming out soon. And we've got a little something there that we're gonna have little giveaways. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And on that note, in the show, Selo, you're really good at this.
And can everyone just join the Discord channel, guys? I need to stress this more and more. Maybe I'm stressing this because I'm quite active on the channel. Please join the Discord channel, guys. Let's continue the banter. It's going to be fun. When the Euros are done, we'll keep on chatting about other stuff. We'll probably even learn about astrophysics, being astrophysicists.
Aman's been very good, by the way. He's been driving the...
Yeah, Aman has been amazing. Aman, get Arjun and Dia to join. Pums, I haven't seen you that much on, but I know I think he is there.
Link in the descriptions below.
Link in the description, guys. So yeah.
Also, subscribe to our damn channel, and if you haven't gotten your friends to subscribe, what are you doing? Honestly, let's grow the conversation. And yeah, Matt, like how many people have Wonga? You know, can I just say I'm sitting with Wonga on Saturday, and I go, "Have you subscribed to the channel?" He goes, "No." I'm like, "Well, what's going on here?"
Hey, he's got a very high standard. He doesn't just hand out subscriptions, okay? Like he's not gonna just sign up for anything. Do you think Arsenal fans want to sign up for football content? No ways, mate.
Wait, Aman, who's dating?
Who's dating, Aman? Tell us. Ashwin and Dia.
Is that happening?
I thought.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's sweet. I'm glad.
That's good. We can take a bit of responsibility for that because a lot of what they've been talking about has been happening here.
Yeah,
so you're welcome, Arjun. Congratulations.
Aman, confirm or deny before the show ends. What's happening? Tell us.
All right, yeah, okay, guys, I'm going to end the show. But yes, as for shirt orders, you can jump onto our Discord channel, drop us a message there, or of course, you can get hold of us on Instagram, Twitter. Just DM us. And again, like I said, in the next couple of days, it should be up on our website. Right. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday. Enjoy the football. And if... Yeah. I was going to say if you don't know what to do, but that's for Tuesday show.
Cool.
All right, cheers, guys.